And we're live. The old game was doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disgrace. Welcome to Play the New Game, where every week I interview entrepreneurs, creatives to hear their stories of the challenges, trade offs, and rewards of pursuing their own path, of playing the new game. My name is Aniekeme, and I'm happy to be your host for this show. Today I have for you $1 million success story from corporate consultant to Headwrap Mogul. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Chioma is one half of the dynamic sister duo behind CC's Closet NYC. CC's Closet is a values-driven e-commerce powerhouse that celebrates the beauty of West African culture through fashionable accessories and clothing, handcrafted by tailors and artisans in Lagos, Nigeria, and game-changing body care products sourced from Ghana. Chioma started her career as a strategy consultant at Parthenon-EY, where she worked with private equity clients focused on the consumer goods sector. Even while working in consulting, she never forgot her love of fashion and creating environments where women feel empowered and seen. And so CC's Closet NYC was born. Welcome to the studio, Chioma.
Thank you for having me. Every time I hear the intro, I'm just like, who is that? Oh, that's me. Wow.
That's you. So, Chioma, what's your new game?
So my new game is social entrepreneurship. So,
Okay.
yeah, so my sister and I started Cece's Closet almost 8 years ago, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about. And when we started, we wanted to do a few things. We wanted to have a positive economic impact on the continent in Nigeria. We wanted to have a positive impact on the women who would shop with us. And we wanted to be able to create something that allowed us to flourish creatively. So it's been such an exciting and amazing experience. And so we've really been able to shape what it means to be an entrepreneur for ourselves. So that's been really exciting.
That's super exciting. So, social entrepreneurship still, how does your business make money?
That's a great question. So we make money by selling things. So we're a products-based business.
Mhm.
We're really well known for our incredible head wraps. They were featured in Target last year, which was so exciting. We're currently working on some other big projects. We just recently are doing a partnership with Amazon, which is super cool.
Very
Um,
exciting.
we are also known for our incredible body care products that get you that soft, smooth, glowing skin. Um, and that's a newer part of our business, but something that's really taken off for us on TikTok and other social media platforms. And then lastly, we also make beautiful jaw dropping clothes. Like, look at my top. Like, your girl is cute, okay? And so for us, it's been all about creating products that we want to see, and then also creating it in a way that allows women to feel seen. So we have a diverse type of diversity in our models. We
Right,
have diversity in
of
the content
course.
that we create, and we also want to make sure that with the dollars that we're making, we're having positive economic impact. So whether or not our product, the majority of our products, we have a made in Africa line of our
Right.
clothing, which is really incredible and impactful for the tailors that work with us. And then we also allow ourselves to flourish creatively and create new things, but also making sure that we're keeping in mind that we're building in Nigeria, building in Ghana as we are building our business.
Here, and you started by mentioning the partnership that you had with Target. What is right now the split in your business between the direct to consumer business and the partnerships?
That's a good question. I would say the majority of our business is still direct to consumer. So we've been really working on building the retail part of our business, doing more partnerships and things like that. But it's tough. Like, so one,
Right.
it costs a lot, it costs a lot of money to roll with the big boys. It's a pricey game. And then also, I think one of the advantages that you have as a smaller business is that you can be very nimble. So you can adapt really quickly. You can do
Mm-hmm.
things really quickly. So if Uchenna or I have an idea and we're ready to put money behind it, we can have that idea in front of customers within a matter of weeks. Whereas like when you're working with like large corporations, like they can like approach you, but it can take like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, two
Right.
years. and they're thinking because they're thinking very, very long, and that's a different way of thinking in their strategy. So it just takes a longer time to make things happen.
That makes sense. And you mentioned Uchenna, and I know that she's your co-founder, but the audience doesn't. Can you talk a little bit about how you both have delegated the work that you do within the business?
So Uchenna is my big sister and business partner. Absolutely love her. And I think what we really try to do is create a work environment that plays to our different strengths. My sister is an incredible creative. So she does all of our designing for our clothing. She designs new prints for us. And she really does all of the beautiful things that make CCCCs. And then
Mhm.
I am really a person who's really interested in like building community, talking to people, being out in the world. So I'm like more of the front facing part of the brand in a lot of ways. So I'm the person that you'll see on our social media. At our pop-ups, I'll be chatting up. And, you'll see me do a lot of like the outward communication and do like things like this, like podcasts and different things where I'm representing the company and speaking on panels. So it's been a really exciting part of our business. Like, and we both take part in like the operations, working with our team, making sure
Of
that things are
course.
happening, which is like just so exciting because I think the craziest thing is being able to take something from an idea to like reality and then have people like purchase that reality. Like we recently just launched a partnership with Amazon, and we came out with these new head wraps, and they were head wraps that were just literally just like something that we saw on like a screen. And then they became
And now
like
they're a physical product.
and purchase, and that's like it's crazy to me every single time.
Right. Yeah, it's so interesting to be able to. It's almost like you're giving birth every single time that you take an idea
I
from
mean, it feels
concept,
like it. Like my mom's like,
right?
"Where are your kids?" But I'm just like, "You see all the products? You see all this
Right.
work?"
So you mentioned being the face of the company, and I remembered that one of the, for me, memorable things with Cece's Closet was when you guys had a massive poster up in Soho in
Yeah.
2021. It, and then you mentioned TikTok as well, just being the social media person for Cece's Closet. I want to dive more into that from like content marketing and growth of Cece's Closet. When did you start using TikTok consistently for the business?
So we were very much like everybody else. Like it was 2020, who was bored in the house and the house bored. and and we were on Instagram, and we were doing like the lives and finding different ways to connect with our community, and also just
Mhm.
like thinking of different ways that we could like do lower cost, low impact ways of connecting, because we just didn't know what the world, let alone our lives, was going to look like in a few weeks, a few months, what have you.
Of course.
So in like the summer, early summer, late spring of 2020, I just like got on TikTok. And it's actually really funny because my sister had been trying to get me to be on TikTok since 2019. She was just like, "Oh, like we should try TikTok." And I was just like, "I don't know what's going on over there. Like I don't know what that means." and and when we got on, at first I was like super intimidated because like I feel like we had really grown up in the Instagram era. So we were really used to doing the photo content like with like a beautiful caption or like a pretty quote. And like kind of like it was just like chill. Like it was really quick to do. Like we would do our photo shoot, then we'd have content for a couple months, do another photo shoot, content for a couple months, and that's how it went. And then with TikTok, it kind of forced you to one, bring down your production value a bit. So still you still want to have like crystal clear picture and whatnot. Like you still want things to look good. But you also want to like make
Of
sure
course.
that like it feels real to people, feels authentic. And it really got me thinking about showing different parts of our business and being a business owner that I normally wouldn't have shown. So like TikTok was the first time I really ever did BTS stuff that wasn't like in my story disappear. I'm like, you mean people gonna be able to pull this up later and talk to me about it? But I'm like, so
Yeah.
I was just like very hesitant about it, but what I really enjoy about the platform is that it's like it's allowed me to open up to people in ways that I normally wouldn't have, and it's really challenged me to like rethink what it means to be a business owner, what it means to be the face of your business, and how you can go about connecting both products and community in a way that can be really meaningful and powerful.
You talk about showing people the behind the scenes of your business, and that was one of the posts of yours that actually went viral.
Yeah,
That post. Can you talk a bit about that? And what
wait,
were
which
you
one?
doing
I feel
when
like
the
so many of them have
the
gone.
The very first one of you carrying all of the orders yourself to UPS to
Oh,
deliver them.
yes, I do remember that one. That's so funny because I haven't thought about that in ages. But yeah, so there was a day that I literally was born out of me being frustrated with USPS
Mm,
because we had been doing all this work, getting on TikTok, getting people to see our products, getting people excited about what we had going on, got people to place their orders. We fulfill all those orders, and we were doing it with our very small team. Sorry, we were doing it with our very small team, and then USPS just doesn't show up, and I'm like, I can't just not show up to my job. I just don't send out people's orders. People gonna be yelling at me. You can't
uh-huh.
just like not pull up. Like we schedule, and it's like, and we schedule our pickups so they know that they're supposed to
Right.
come. We've had them we schedule them out like a year in advance, so like they know
Right.
where we're at. They know they're supposed to come. Like our mailman knows us, and so like they just didn't show up that day. And I was pissed because they were waiting consistently, and it was very annoying to me because
Mm,
I think we had just recently gone viral. And like one of the things that I think of is like when it comes to customer service, it's not just how you treat a customer when they reach out, but you want the whole customer experience to be
experience, of
positive.
course.
So we were just like, okay, Chetty and I were just like, you know what? We're just gonna get an Uber XL, pack up all our stuff into this Uber, and we're gonna go down to the post office, baby. And then while I was there, I was like, you know what? I need to name and shame USPS for this because I'm very annoyed. So I was just like, so I think I said something like USPS might not have shown up for today, but we always show
But
up for
we always show up. Yes, that's what you said.
this is how we do it in the background. And that was one of my first like super viral videos. Got like 500,000 views or something like that. And
Yeah,
it went,
it's over 600,000 now.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You was really checking me out.
Girl, I was researching for this interview.
Research, I love it. And so like yeah, so when and it was really funny because that was if it wasn't for TikTok, that's not a piece of content that I would have ever made.
Of
And it
course.
went viral on every platform that we posted it on. So it was just like, so that's what made it really interesting to me because it showed me how much like just like authentic connections and also how much everyone in the world is just frustrated with USPS because you do get me frustrated with it. Like,
Yeah. So one of the things that you said with regards to success on TikTok is this authentic communication. Is there any other like tip for if someone's listening to this and they're a business owner trying to grow on TikTok, what is one like hot tip that they may not know about how to be successful and perhaps go viral on TikTok?
I would say I think like so two things, and this and again this is not nothing is true 100% of the time. I'm gonna start by
Of
saying
course.
that because you're always gonna be able to find an account that's like the exception to the rule. Like somebody else is gonna be doing something that's gonna work really well for them. But from what
Of
I've
course.
seen and what's worked for my business, and what's helped me is not being afraid to like show my face. And it's really funny.
Mm,
For the first couple of years of CC's, I think Chenny and I had done one professional shoot, and
mm.
every now and then around our anniversary, you post a picture from that shoot, and it was very cute. And maybe for like our birthdays, and we were doing a birthday sale, then you see another picture of us pop up for that shoot. Otherwise, you weren't really seeing us like that on our
Mm,
platform. And with the pandemic, and because we really relied on influencers to really be like the faces of our brand at that point, and with
right.
the pandemic, it really forced me to like get in front of the camera because I was like, someone had
Right.
to do and get comfortable there. And I found that people would connect to me, which is awesome and super exciting. Um, and they would also then connect to the business as well. Cause like sometimes people want to
Mhm.
support you because the products are great, which is awesome, but also sometimes because they like the person. And so
Right.
as a business owner, especially if you're starting small, you have a small budget. Sometimes all you got is you and your personality. And your personality does not have to be big and boisterous like mine. Like, yeah, yes, I like definitely have the advantage of having a bubbly personality. But if your personality is more chill, vibes, relaxed, that's okay too. Like the thing is that people connect to people and people buy from
Correct.
people. And so because that's what's happening, even as we're like in this really big social media platform world, allowing people to connect with you, getting to know your personality, and let them buy with you is also a great way for you to share about your business in a way that feels authentic and doesn't feel too salesy.
Hmm. Now that we're talking about like the beginning stage of a business, let's go back to the beginning stages of CCs. Even before that, actually. So
Not
let's
before.
start. Yeah,
You're
let's
going
start
deep into
from,
it. Okay.
I introduced you as being from Brooklyn, but can you talk a little bit about your family and your family's background?
Okay. Oh, so we're starting from birth.
I
So
don't know
my single
about
mom.
birth.
So I was born in Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn. My parents are both from Nigeria. I went to they immigrated to the US in the 80s and they
Hmm.
met here. So if they hadn't come to America, they never would have met, which is always I feel so
Oh,
cute.
so
It's a
cute.
cute thing, right? Because they're from different tribes and you'll find that most people they tend to marry within their tribe. And my dad's tribe is
Back
Igbo,
then.
is very back then was really known for marrying other
Yeah.
Igbos. So
Yes.
so my mom really would have never met him. And she at first didn't take my dad seriously because he was Igbo. She was just like, oh, he's not trying to marry me, like I'm not gonna talk to him. But he was like, and so yeah, they met here and they met in college in finance class, which I think is so cute. And
Oh,
then we had
so
like
cute.
me, my older sister, my younger brother, me, my older sister, my younger brother, and then we lived in Brooklyn for a bit, and I lived in Brooklyn up until like I was about 11 years old. Then we moved to Long Island, and I went to
Hmm.
middle school in Long Island. And then my parents were like really interested in us having a really strong education, and you'll find that that's really commonality around a lot of Nigerian immigrants. Like they really want you to focus on your education, so they sent me to boarding school up in Massachusetts.
So that you can become a doctor, lawyer, or
Well, engineer.
yeah.
When we were little, we all had our assignments. So she was the doctor. She's a firstborn, so she was supposed to be the doctor.
Of
I was
course.
gonna be a lawyer because I've been a talker since the day I was born. Out the womb, I've been chatting people
That's
up, and they
so
were like, "You talk
funny.
more, you should be a lawyer."
Yeah.
So I was supposed to be the lawyer, and then my brother, he was a wild card. He was a boy. He was the only boy, and he was the youngest. So they were just like,
So it's like,
just graduate.
just make it out.
To just graduate, maybe be a businessman, whatever. He
Mhm.
had hoop dreams because he was really tall from a young age, so
Yes.
he was just like, maybe I'll ball, whatever. But I know that I had told my parents like, okay, I'll be a lawyer, whatever. And then when I got to school, to college, I kind of like was not as interested in law.
Hmm.
I still love history and I loved history, but I just like didn't like all the reading that came with it. I just wasn't that
LOL.
into it. And so I was just like, and my dad was just like, okay, like, well, you're good at math, like, be a math major. And I was like, you're good at math and Columbia good at math are two different things.
That's true.
And, and I wasn't trying to be Columbia good at math because I was just like, this is going to require more work and effort than I need to put in. So I decided that I would do, so and I was like thinking, like, I was actually trying to major in history and he was just like, no way. Um, and
Sounds
then I
about
decided that we moved.
African.
Yeah, he was just like, no way, Jose. So I decided that I would do economics, as like a base. It's like analytical enough that like I could get a decent job and he would leave me alone. And I felt like because economics is the study of how people create economies, you're able to like have that history and psychology aspect in it too, that like
Of course.
interested me in history and sociology and things like that. So I thought it was like a really nice happy medium, and I ended up really loving the major. Like I went away for a year to study at the London School of Economics and I really loved it. Like I loved my classes, I had such a good time. um and
Only
when
in
I
the classes, huh?
graduated, huh, you said what?
I said only in the classes, huh?
Unless for the purposes of this podcast, yeah, it's only in the classes. What you talking
That's
about?
what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Okay, I
Please
thought
keep going.
so. But and after I graduated, I had been doing internships in finance. And like at the time, my parents knew about finance because of their jobs, and then they had met people in finance, so they knew that finance was like a good stable career. So when I said like, oh, I think I might do this finance thing, they were like, okay, go ahead. You're gonna be paid. Like you're not gonna be on my couch. Like we're good. So that was the first thing that they thought that I was going to do. But as I did more summers and internships in finance, I was just not into it. I was just like, I had tried so many different parts of the bank, and I was just like, I feel like I was getting burnt out.
From an internship. Wow.
from internships. And I had done 4 internships. So it's a lot more internships than people normally do in
That
finance. But I
really
started
is.
in high
Yeah.
school and I was just like, I was kind of over it. So I took a break and then I decided that since I didn't want to go to law school and I didn't want to do finance, the only other option really was to become a consultant. And I was like, oh, well, consultant is business. Like, I have I'll be able to do businessy things. And I've always had an interest in business because I love talking to people. I love sales and things like that. So I was just like, okay, I'm like, consulting it is. And I was able to finesse my way into consulting with lots of smiles and lots of studying and able to get a full-time offer at Parthenon-EY. I think it's like EY Parthenon. They changed the name too many times. Like I don't even know what company it is no more. But but I was working there, and it was when I had applied, it was a boutique firm, so it was just Parthenon. So I didn't know
Right.
about the EY part. And so when I graduated and I was gonna go work there, they were like, "Oh, by the way, like we're part of EY
There's a
now." And I was
merger.
like, "Okay." And it was funny because I had chosen it because I wanted to work at a boutique firm, so it was a little okey doke, but you know how big corporations do.
Yeah.
and my parents were happy with that because it was a really good salary. I graduated from college basically with a 6-figure salary, um, which is like
So,
not super common, and they
yeah.
liked that. They were just like, you'll be able to take care of yourself and you'll be able to do really well. So when I started talking to them about Cece's Closet, because Cece's Closet actually started the same summer from when I graduated from college, they were just like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "You got a good life ahead of you, nice, safe life here. Why are you
Right.
talking about this business? And why are you doing this?" That was basically their number one answer question.
You- How long were you doing both? How long were you working in consulting and also building CCs?
So it ended up being about like 3.5 years of doing both.
Wow.
So the length of time was like two reasons. Like the first thing was that like I didn't want to because I knew my parents weren't super supportive. I knew that they weren't going to give me any money. And um and so like I was just like, okay, if I want this business thing, if I want this business to be able to like exist, I need to fund it somehow. And because I don't
Right.
have a trust fund and I couldn't really ask my parents for money, I was like, I need to make money. So I really like so my first investor was my job.
Mm.
And I really would every 2 weeks, both my sister and I, we would take our paychecks and we put a portion of it to the business. And when and I also wanted to see if it was a viable concept too, right? Because like as like a person who's like the child of immigrants, like my worst fear is to just be like poor and destitute. Like it's like my worst fear. 'Cause it
Oh
really
my
just
gosh.
deeply ingrained it into me. Like you could do anything but be broke. So it was like one of my deepest fears. So because I didn't want that to happen to me, I was just like, I need to also see if this is a viable business.
Of course.
And I would say like the first 2 years of Cece's was just really trying to figure out one how to sell to people because neither of my sister have a background in fashion or in social media. I mean, there wasn't really a background in social media at that time, but we weren't neither of us were influencers or anything like that. So we were just really figuring things out, figuring out
Right.
how to sell, figuring out how to create demand for products, figuring out how to get people to want the things that you have. So I needed to make sure that that was like something that could actually happen. And really early on, CC showed me that it was something that could happen because we had a lot of early success with getting interest on social media. But this is like,
Mhm.
you got to think back to 2015 IG. There was so many scams.
Yes, they
There was so
were.
many scams on IG. And so
It's
people like
crazy.
would be like, your pictures are pretty, but you look like a fraud. And I'd be like, that's me. I work in first. And I'm an honest person. What are you talking about? So,
It's not about you.
but it wasn't about me. It was just the
Mhm.
environment. So we had to start doing markets and pop-ups in New York City so that people could see us in person. Like we were selling bags made with real leather at that time. So like people could see that it was like genuine leather, like high quality stuff. And so we had to do so much convincing and learning how to convince people effectively was tough for us. And
Mm.
then we were able to get into influencer marketing and we really were able to start seeing our business grow from there. And so for me, it was important that I saw that my business had like market viability, that people wanted what I was selling before I left my job. And then before I made the decision to leave, because I had known that I was building up to leaving, I made sure that I was like saving a lot of money. I would say like I was like at a point I was saving like 60% of my paychecks, if not more,
Wow.
every 2 weeks to make sure that like if anything
Wow.
happened, I'd be able to support CC's through it. And that things would be okay. So like I had like by the time I left, I had like about a year's worth of expenses saved up and like a little cushion.
That's amazing. And so
But it's
is that
not everyone's willing to live that life. There was a lot of
yeah.
discipline. Like I was not living like a six figure, girl. I was very much living within my means. And I
But
do
you could do that. I mean, you had a goal, you had a reason, you had a strong why. So
exactly.
you could do that because you knew you're not doing it forever, right?
Yeah, that was the goal, was to not do it forever. And I really wanted to make sure that like I gave my business a fighting chance. And I knew
Hmm.
that if I went into the business, full time to the business and we didn't have and like we were and I couldn't support myself in the way that I wanted to, and I didn't have that cushion, I would probably have given up. Because like I also don't like to be uncomfortable. That's another thing. And like when I say uncomfortable, like I wouldn't like to like not be able to like eat like where I want to eat or like see my friends and stuff like that. So I'm not like a huge um I can be let me try to find the best way to put it. Like I'm not someone who's like a stranger to sacrifice. So like I'm good at delaying gratification, but I
Hmm.
also need to be able to like have my small little joys. Like I need to have those little joys. Like I need to be able to live in like a decent place. Like I can't live with no critters. Can't do that. Me personally can't do it. And I know my limitations, and because I know those limitations, I want to make sure that I can provide a life for myself that was comfortable enough to make it happen.
Okay. When you were talking about the beginning of the business where you started doing pop-ups and markets because you needed to meet people in person and convince them, it kind of ties to what you said with TikTok, new business owners showing up and showing their face and the being actually in front of their business so that they're building that trust.
It's true. And I also think that with TikTok today, business owners have such an opportunity because like I feel like as a platform, everyone who came to TikTok already came from like having a background in buying on social media. Like
Mm.
because like they had kind of been trained by Instagram and Facebook, people were already used to seeing businesses and small businesses show up on social media. So because people were used to seeing that, they were like, "Oh, like if I see someone like making candles and like I like this candle, or I see someone selling African exfoliating that's aka me, and like I'm like thinking that, and I'm seeing all these comments of positive comments about the product, like I can like trust this, I can try this." And so I feel like there's a unique opportunity right now on TikTok for business owners because so many people are like open to shopping on social media in a way that they weren't back in 2015, even back in like 2018. I feel like it's become so much more common for people to shop on social media.
So we've talked about social media and TikTok in particular a lot, but I want to know more about some other technology tools that enable like power your business. So from a marketing perspective, and I kind of want to go at it in different categories. So like marketing, what are like three tech tools that your business cannot run without?
So marketing, I would say definitely Canva, because
Hmm.
you can make anything, baby. You can make anything.
That
So we'll use
Canva
that for,
professional.
so definitely using that for like our emails and like text messages that we send. I think that's super powerful. If
You
you can,
use them, you use Canva for your text messages? How?
so you use Canva to create the things that you send.
Mm.
So I don't actually use it as a platform to send the things.
Yeah, so to create the
Although Canva
graphics
is
that you
cool.
include in the text.
Yeah. And then another sense of marketing that I couldn't live without as a business, and we're not talking about social media, then I would definitely say it would be like an email list.
Okay.
I think it's so funny because like people kind of discount the email list because social media, they're like, oh, like anyone I want to talk to, like is gonna see it on my IG or like they'll see it on my TikTok. But like I think the importance of owned marketing is more, it's more important now than ever because having a communication opportunity with your customers that you own fully and that you fully have access to is like it's like so important, especially when algorithms are changing every day. So you never know what
Correct.
algorithm you're going to meet, because one day Mark Zuckerberg might decide that he ain't never gonna show a picture ever again. Anyone ask him to do that? No.
It was trending in that
Better
direction at some point.
making the transition. So so then like your reach is cut. So you want to make sure you can still continue to communicate with your customers. And I still feel like email is like a really amazing, viable way to do that. So I think I think email marketing is super important. We currently use OmniSend and we love them. I think they're really
Okay.
good. And I definitely wouldn't be able to have my business without that marketing wise. Um, Last marketing tool. Hmm.
Just
I would
one
say like
more.
the other, this is a toughie that's not social media because we use social media so much. Okay,
I
last one I
know.
would say is like is going to be text message as well because
Okay.
usually people who like your audience is going to be slightly different on both, so it's good to have both if you can.
And by
Um,
both, you mean email and text?
Email and text, yeah,
Got it.
because your audience is going to be slightly different. And I feel like text messages you tend to get like a more immediate push, whereas like I feel like with email it tends to be like a longer burn. In my
Mm.
experience, people are usually text checking their text like every day. And I think so I still think that text messages isn't like extremely saturated. So like not every business is on text yet. So you still have
Mhm.
a lot more opportunities to meet your customers there.
That's so interesting that you say that email and text, you're seeing different customers because when people are signing up for email, then there's the option to opt into text as well. What
Yeah,
is it that you
so
see as a difference between those two
well, I think people
demographics?
just have different preferences. So some people
Mm.
are going to be responsive to email, some people are going to be responsive to text message. And then I usually find that like our older customers are like really into email. And like
Okay.
and then our younger customers like will like literally chat with us via text. I'll just be like responding to our text messages, which is always really funny because it's just like
That's so
we did
cool.
not send a text message just to you. Like we sent this to like a couple thousand people, but but I appreciate your response. I'm so glad that you're excited.
That's so cute. You're talking
Um,
to your customers. Like, that's really exciting.
yeah, so it's really fun to talk to them. So
Yeah.
you'll just find that like you have a slightly different audience on both, and just it's just whatever communication style someone prefers.
Okay. And then what are three operational tools that you can't do business without?
Three operational tools that we can't do business without. So this one I gotta shout this one out for China. It's called ClickUp, and
Oh,
ClickUp
okay.
organizational tool. So because we have an awesome team in Brooklyn that helps us with our fulfillment and operations here in terms of making sure that our business is running, it's a great way for us to like communicate with each other. Like if we're having any issues with products, if we're finding things, making sure that launches are prepared on time, making sure that every assignment's getting done. ClickUp is amazing. Um, a second operational tool. Huh. Hmm. I would say WhatsApp
Does
because
WhatsApp count as
I think it does.
opt?
It counts for me because
Okay, explain.
it's an amazing communication tool for our international teams.
Okay.
And so like we can send
That,
emails,
yeah.
but like WhatsApp is like a great way for us to be in constant communication with our teams in Ghana, teams in the US and teams in Nigeria. And I think like it's just like such a easily integrated into the business. So it really helps us like if we need a quick communication, WhatsApp is like a really great way to like communicate things quickly.
All right.
So I'm gonna count WhatsApp.
Okay.
Uh,
And that's a good, the explanation makes a lot of sense. That's definitely operational.
yeah, no, I mean, like we could not run as easily without it for sure.
Right.
Um, and this one's gonna be kind of like out there. I don't think it's that out there, but like the Google Suite, like that
Okay.
whole like the Google Excel spreadsheets, the Google presentations. Like one, it's great because it's like hosted on the cloud. We have like because we use a lot of data, a lot.
Mm.
We're using a lot of data, so
Because you
that's
have like pictures of the different products, and
exactly, and we
that's
have to host all of that somewhere. So we need to
exactly
know, and we have to also have like a we have to put everything into a language that everyone can understand. So like we
right. Like
label things by number
standardizing.
first, so standardized
Hmm.
across the globe. Wow, I'm fancy.
Yeah,
Standardized across the globe
worldwide.
in a way that people can easily understand. And
Hmm.
it gives us a common language when talking like in the production through the production process all the way to the putting things online process.
Okay, those are great, great tools. And then the last
And
category
they
that
were
I
like
wanted
a
to
few of
know.
them are free.
Yeah, that's true. But the last category that I wanted to ask you about was finances. How do you maintain CC's money? What are three tools that you need for that?
That's a good question. So we use like the standard like QuickBooks because like you do want to have like all your things organized and it's like good to have a central location for everything. So
Mhm.
QuickBooks is super, super helpful. Um, the second thing is we do have like a virtual CFO bookkeeper. So people who like
Mhm.
organize all of our finances for us. So we outsource that to a consulting company. And that was something that we definitely had to do because we buy a lot of stuff. Like we are spending a lot. We're buying different things that we need to buy across like so many different cards, across so many different countries. And because we're doing all of that, just keeping all of that organized just like takes so much time because we're
Yeah.
just like the flow from us to Amazon is it's crazy. So for all of our packaging things. So it's been so
Right.
that's been super, super helpful for us. And then another finance tool that's helpful, I would say like that I would say like actually like the back end of Shopify, like because they have
Oh,
some really great reporting tools that you can use for when you're trying to look at like how your business is doing, what things that you can be doing better, like what trends are happening. They have a lot of really great reporting tools that are super helpful. So Shopify is like another great tool.
okay, awesome. Well, on the topic of money, what is a business lesson that you didn't learn in time and then it cost you the most money?
That is a good question.
See, some people don't know to like hire an accountant to help them with taxes and then they have to pay more later. Or,
I would say like because we've always had an accountant. That's
okay.
because my uncle was an accountant, so
So
he
maybe
did
not
our
that, maybe something else.
he did our first accounting things. I'm trying to think of like so hmm a big expensive business lesson.
Correct.
So I'm trying. I'm saying one that doesn't make me sound so jaded. All right, one pricey business lesson that we learned was that everybody gonna say they're your friend, but not everyone is your friend.
Ooh.
Um, so our first trip to Ghana, Chenny and I were so excited because we went to the market and we found so many gorgeous, gorgeous prints that we wanted to work with, like so many beautiful fabrics. And we had a friend there and she was just like, "Oh, like I send stuff from Ghana to Nigeria all the time. Like you could just send your stuff with mine." And so we were just like, so we went to town. Like we ended up buying like maybe like 3 Ubers worth of fabric. Like them Ubers was overflowing with fabric.
Whoa. Okay.
And so we was just like, so we Uber everything to her tiny shop. And then she's just like, "Oh, like I didn't know that you guys were gonna buy this much. Like I can't take this." And like I never said that I was going to send it over to Nigeria for you. Like what are you talking about?
What?
She really said that. Um, she really said that to us, and we were just like looking at her like we were both there for the conversation. Um, you definitely said that.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely said that you were going to help us with this, and because we were both looking at each other like, are you hearing this too? Because I was there, you were there, and she said she was going to do this, and so
Yeah.
and after later, China and I were just like, yeah, like I'm just really glad that you were there too because you otherwise you would have thought I was crazy when I told you that this happened. So she left us like basically stranded in the middle of Accra with the all this like fabric that we didn't know how we were going to get to Nigeria because that's where our
Oh
tailors
my
were.
god.
That's where the people that were going to work on our clothes and head wraps that we are going to make with it after were. So we were just like we did not know what to do. So we ended up having to buy a hotel in like the city center proper because we couldn't get enough
Buy a
Uber.
hotel.
Buy the whole hotel, buy a hotel alone. Like because we were staying like in an Airbnb that was like because we had never been to Ghana at that time, and the
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb kind of tricked us. So our Airbnb was really far away. So it would have been like, so it was really difficult for, it would have been really difficult for us to get all the fabric back to the Airbnb where we were staying and then get it to wherever we need to go to get it to Ghana. So we had to buy a last
To
minute
enjoy.
hotel
Okay.
room.
Hmm.
And we had to like, then we were lucky enough that they decided to like have a room and store all the stuff for us. But it was a lot of stuff. Like they really could have said no. They could have been like, you need to buy another room. And I wouldn't have blamed them.
Oh.
I would not have. um, and then we had to like, we just ended up calling every person that we knew in Ghana, being like, how can we get our things to Nigeria? Like, we just need a way. Like, just tell us any way. We were looking stuff up online. We were looking at buses. But the thing is, like, when you're on the continent, sometimes what's online doesn't exist in person. So you'll be
Correct.
like, the bus was saying, "Oh, I'm going to Nigeria at 9 a.m. on Thursday. 9 a.m.
Not
Thursday, you're
you.
there. There's no, it's you. There's no bus." So
Mm.
we had to find like a trustworthy bus company that could get our products to Nigeria. So we had to pay like last minute fees for that. And then we also had to pay to get all of it to the bus in the first place. And then I think we were also leaving Ghana like within like 24 hours from that too.
Wow.
We were like trying to make
So
sure.
many, so many things.
And so we were just like, so we had to like, so it had to be like a next day bus type of situation because we wouldn't be able to be there with the stuff anymore. And then but we luckily we had like a friend who had another friend who had sent some stuff to Nigeria before, and they were like, "This company exists. Go to this place." And then so we went there. We showed our ID. Like we had to pay how many of they add. They just kept tacking on fees. They were like, "Oh, there's gonna be people yelling at us in Nigeria. Tack on a yelling at us in Nigeria fee. Just additional fees, more and more fees coming out of nowhere." And then, but we did eventually get all of it to Nigeria, and it was actually one of our best-selling collections of head wraps and clothes ever. One of our best-selling
Look
collections.
at that.
Those prints were A1. They were worth the hassle. But
Look at
the
that.
stress, like it wasn't even just the financial toll; it was also the emotional toll of having
Hmm.
to negotiate. All of that was crazy.
Do you feel like having gone through, or whenever you go through challenges like that, it makes the success that comes afterwards so much more worth it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would say yes because you know what it takes to make something happen. And I think
Hmm.
that's one of the beauties of entrepreneurship is that you really learn like what it takes for this shirt to come from my sister's pen designing it to being on my body. Like you
Right.
understand what it takes for something like that to happen. And I feel like there's so much beauty in that work.
Hmm.
But no, because you just be stressing. Like the stress, because I'm pretty sure the stress has like shortened the end of my life for sure. But
Stop! You don't know that yet. Come on.
because my mom would say you can't speak like things like that.
No.
But I would
Uh,
definitely say like I've spent. I feel like I've never known stress like the stress that I've had as an entrepreneur, but I also have never known joy and excitement like the joy and excitement that I've had as an entrepreneur. So it's a coin that goes both ways.
That's so sweet the way you put it. I've never known stress. I've never known joy. It's I love it.
Is it? I mean, honestly, like the first time, so we were on like a billboard in Soho. That's crazy.
That is.
And
And
that would have
speaking,
never happened if I hadn't done this. Like we were on a nationally run commercial. Like we shot a commercial. Like
yeah,
me, plus
you
size
were in
me,
a
black girl
Netflix
me. I was
documentary.
in a Netflix documentary. Like all these
You,
things are things that
yeah.
would have never happened if I hadn't taken the chance on entrepreneurship. And then also just like even like the joy of like having people write a comment being like, hey, like you you shared this thing with me, like you showed me an African exfoliating mat and my skin is cleared up and like I'm the most confident I've ever been, or being like, hey, like
Oh,
your head wraps made me feel seen and make me feel beautiful and make me feel like I never have to worry about what I look like, what my hair looks like, because like I know that I have like this beautiful head wrap to put on and people are always going to be positively asking me like where did I get that, or tell me how beautiful
that's
I look
so
or
so
how regal I
sweet.
look, or someone being like, I wore one of your dresses and it's the first time in my life I've ever been complimented on an outfit I was wearing. I'm about to tear up right now. Like
Oh,
emails that we literally get from our customers, and it means so much to know that what you're doing can impact. Ooh, not me really crying, but
Well,
it's
you are tearing up.
I'm really tearing up because it means so much to me. Because like what like we do it for the human connection. We do it for the people
Mm-hmm.
that put their trust in us and put their money in us. And because we're doing it for that, like you really get to build such a beautiful community. And those things happen because you put yourself out there and you decided to build something and do something.
Yeah. You can really see your heart in CC's and in the work that you do. Uh, so, I mean, as your friend and as your interviewer, I'm very grateful to have you on the show. Uh, Before we end sort of the questions that I have one last thing that I wanted to ask, and I think it's actually fitting based on what you just said. The documentary you were in, that was in 2019,
Mhm.
Netflix documentary, she did that. You said you had recently done a thing where you asked your family for feedback because you wanted to make sure that you were taking care of Chioma the person, not just Chioma the entrepreneur, Chioma the sister, Chioma the friend. And
Ooh, you
overwhelming
really need to watch the
feedback
documentary.
the overwhelming feedback was that you need to take better care of yourself. So, do you feel like you've been able to find that balance between the passion and the joy and the love that you pour out into your business as an entrepreneur and being able to care for Shoma as the person?
I would say that I think that I'm definitely doing a better job now than I was in 2019. So I think in 2019 when that documentary came out, I was still working two jobs too. So I'm doing a
Mm,
better job now than I was then. But I feel like when it comes to finding balance, it's always a give and take. Like there are going to be times where I'm really amazing at Chioma the person, but I haven't given as much as I want to my business and vice versa. And I think what I'm finding is that like giving myself that grace to allow there to be moments of like intense stress and intense work, but also moments of like relaxed, laid back, allowing other people to do things. Like we recently hired some additional people, which is so exciting, and I'm always nervous about hiring more people because it means that you have more expenses. And I'm the type of person who like I always just want to make sure that like everyone's getting payroll, like everything is doing good. And so
yeah.
because of that, I like to keep my expenses low because then it's less stress. So that's how I like to approach it. So but when you allow more people to come into your business, you allow more space for you the person to exist as well. So I always think about like, okay, what am I doing to continue to grow the business, but what am I also doing to continue to grow Fiamma? So I've had a little bit more time to read books, which is good.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Podcasts, which is also good.
Hey,
Um, Taking better care of myself health wise, so like getting myself outside, which is awesome, and
mhm.
drinking water. I went to the doctor, so that was
That's good.
good. My mom was very happy about that.
That's good.
Um, and I'm really just like thinking more about what I want personally because I think so much of my life has been around my goals and what I wanted to achieve. And so little of it has been around the type of person I wanted to be. And so
Wow.
now I'm thinking more about like the type of person that I want to be and type of life I want to live and not just everything that I want to achieve because I feel like I've been able to get to so many of the goals that I had as a business, like getting to seven figures in 1 year, like doing making something out of nothing,
Right.
really. And still having my integrity intact when I did it. So that's pretty awesome. um
That
and
is.
and I think that like I'm more focused now on like, okay, what does my best life look like? What does my best version of Chioma look like? And I'm working on it. It's definitely a work in progress. Like my birthday is next week, which is crazy. What? Turning 30? Who?
Oh my gosh.
Um, but that experience is really having me think more about what I want this next chapter of my life to look like.
That's wonderful. So, in the spirit of caring for Choma as a person and true to the name of the show, Play the New Game, I'm going to play a game with you, okay?
Oh yeah, I love the game.
All right. So, the name of the game is Hi Hi Low Low. I just made that
Okay.
up. Um, I'll make a statement and I'll give you a statistic. And you
Okay.
tell me whether the actual, and it'll be a false stat. You tell me whether the real number is higher or lower.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, I'm in. Okay, this is
And
interesting.
we'll review them after. So just focus on
I'll get
getting.
the answers.
Sorry, yeah, you get the answers afterwards.
Okay, I'm
But
ready.
you have to try to get as many as you can in 60 seconds.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have my timer here. It's gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna hold it in this hand. Can you see it? Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold it there and then I'm gonna read the question. So I'm gonna start now, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Is it going? Cool.
Yes.
All right. How many views are there for the hashtag falling on TikTok?
Okay.
3.8 billion.
Fallen.
Falling.
Say low.
Wrong. It's higher.
Okay. I thought I
Okay.
get the answers at the end, but okay.
How many ice cream shops are there on 14th Street? 7?
Low.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
That's it. How many Google results are there for the search lemonade? 1.2 billion?
High.
Higher than that?
I think it should be lower than that.
Oh, okay, correct.
Okay. A lot of lemonade.
All right, that's right. 7 seconds. What's the record number of slices of pizza eaten in 10 minutes? To your face.
You have to give
Okay,
me the
wait.
number. You didn't give me a number.
Oh,
Yeah, I
oh,
had
that
to
was
give
my
me a number so I can say high or low.
bad. Okay, then let me tell you the number 54.
For in 10 minutes?
Yes.
That has to be high. Or that person just didn't have a stomach.
Okay,
What? What?
I'll start with that. It was actually higher. It's 83. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds disgusting. Like, why would you do that? What?
Because you're trying to compete. You're trying to be a champ.
Oh God. And like my stomach is hurting from thinking about eating 84 slices of pizza.
Yeah, 83.
Never.
Crazy.
That was
Uh,
fun. Also, you could have just given me the answers at the end, girl.
no, then it would have taken your time. I wanted to see how many you would get.
Okay.
So but falling on TikTok, it was 5.5 billion views for
Oh,
it.
okay. So I said it. I did I say it was low or I said it was high?
It was so I think the way that we said it was weird, but I think you got that correct. Is
Okay.
the second one was are there 7 ice cream shops on 14th Street and there are 2.
Oh, okay. So I said that. Oh, so I got that one wrong. Then
Yes.
the ice cream shop one.
Yeah, but you got the
There's
first one
less.
right.
There's less ice
And
cream.
then the lemonade one you got right, 1.2 billion, that's a lot. It's 225 million.
I was like, yeah, that's a lot of ice cream, man.
However, Baby Got Back has 4.4 billion search results. Way
Oh.
more than Lemonade, which is weird.
Well,
Anyways.
Baby Got Back though has also been around since the 80s.
So you think
And
it
also,
like
I feel like people have
compounded?
used a bunch of different. I feel like it's such a popular term to use for like different like slogans and stuff. So someone would be like, "Baby got back ribs" or something like that. Like, so
But
I'm just trying to think.
Lemonade is like so people use it for Lemonade, then
It's true.
Beyonce's album, the company Lemonade, like
Yeah, yeah.
oh.
But I feel like maybe Baby Got Back is like more versatile because people can like do fun things with it. I think people are just being creative.
Okay, well,
I
the numbers don't lie.
mean, right? The numbers don't
Yeah.
lie.
All right, Choma. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. If anyone who's listening wants to connect with you, where can they find you?
Oh, okay. So if you want to connect with me, you can always find me at Chioma and Ngwudo on every platform. I like the N is for my middle name, Nwamaka. I like it. It's cute. And that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Don't connect me on Facebook. Instagram and TikTok. You can reach out to me there. LinkedIn if you want to, if you like that. Um, and if you want to connect to my business, you can find Cece's Closet at www.ccesclosetnyc.com. That's 2 E's, baby. And our social media is at Cece's Closet NYC everywhere except for where it's too long. So, and then it'll be at Cece's Closet NY.
Okay. And follow the show at Play the New Game underscore on Instagram and on TikTok, and Play the New Game on Facebook.